So, one thing I realized about myself is I'm not good talking in front of the camera like this. I just don't. I gotta hold eye contact and it just feels weird to me because I feel like, it just feels awkward. But anyway, I digress. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Solo. If you don't know, Solo Des. I am currently a student. And I do other things, work part time, etc. But I want to talk to you guys about my update regarding studying Japanese, where I'm at, what I think. A year and a half in, I'm not in any position to be trying to give advice and stuff because I'm still learning myself. I'm barely approaching what I would consider intermediate, and that's giving me like a lot of like leisure, right? But kind of just want to talk about it, tell you guys the moments in which I've had in which I'm like really excited, and then the moments in which I've had and I'm like really down in regards to like learning the language and just talk about everything, right? So, 私は日本語を勉強します。でも、漢字は難しいです。So, let's talk about it, right? It was pretty easy, at least for me personally, to learn hiragana and katakana. I taught myself that before I started taking any classes, like officially. Now, I think the reason for that is because there's a set amount of stuff you need to learn, and then once you memorize that stuff, you can kind of just move on. The thing that I'm kind of struggling with at the current moment, and kind of where I'm at in regards to the language, is I'm kind of at that point in which it's like you gotta just start learning and knowing kanji and mad vocabulary, or you're kind of cooked. And I'm like, dang, like, why am I not able just to figure it out like I was before, So I kind of got to a certain point and I'm like, okay, well, now I need to start taking classes to further my studies and have like a structured way to go about learning the language. And that's what I've done. I've taken 2 classes up until now, and my next course is actually going to be like, I guess, considered an intermediate course. So I'm really excited for that. But I'm kind of at that point which is like that kanji like study grind is real because I really have to figure out how I want to go about learning it. Well, maybe not go about learning it, but I have to figure out what suits me best in regards to learning kanji. I've tried a whole bunch of different methods. I've downloaded apps on my phone to try to help me. I've taken notes. I've watched a lot of videos and different things in relation to that. I've done a lot of stuff. I play like visual novels and different games that I play, fighting games, JRPGs, all in Japanese, and just literally forcing myself to figure out what certain stuff means. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't do that if you don't know any Japanese. But luckily for me, I've studied enough to where I can at least pick up basic things and I can read basic stuff, hiragana, katakana, and a little bit of kanji, but not enough to where I can fully comprehend certain things that are, a lot of detail and very descriptive. I think the perfect word to describe my level of comprehension is elementary school. Literally, like I'm kind of like in that realm of the ability to like comprehend certain things. But let me tell you the good thing about this level of expertise. Not really expertise, 'cause I'm not expert in any regard, but this level of understanding that I have, this very basic level of understanding. I see a pathway, right? And it's a nice feeling. It's tough because you ain't gonna just wake up one day and really be able to be fluent in the language. But it's good to at least see a pathway and knowing if you can figure this out, you will skyrocket in regards to your comprehension, your knowledge, and your overall ability to understand the language. And the pathway I see is if I can continue to memorize more vocabulary and memorize more kanji and understand why certain things work the way they do. Um, that whole transition is gonna be amazing. Like I'm really gonna be able to finally say that I can really like understand a good portion of what's going on instead of just being able to understand bits and pieces. So that's the good news, right? I don't want to say the bad news, but the part that requires a lot of work is that kanji part. You don't just wake up and like, oh well, yeah, now I know kanji. Like I feel like that's a long like marathon essentially. And I don't really see, like, I see people talking about it, but like, I'm gonna be honest, especially if you have other things going on in your life, learning a good portion of kanji, I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while for sure. But it's definitely one of those things that, even with the limited amount of understanding I have now, even with the limited amount, it's still really nice to be able to see certain stuff that I do know and be able to even understand small bits and pieces of what's going on in a whole different language and be able to read certain things. You know, that was my goal when I first started studying Japanese. Is I remember telling myself, if I can just read anything, that's gonna be crazy. Like, that's like so cool to me. Now I can read stuff. Like, I've kind of accomplished that goal. Can I read like almost everything? No, of course not. Like I said, I'm barely approaching intermediate. I'm still, in my personal opinion, in the elementary realm of understanding in regards to this language. So, but I'm really happy with the things that I have been able to learn, and I'm looking forward to the things that I will know in the future. You know, the next update video got the next update video I give you guys in the future, I'll probably be where I want to be in regards to like that intermediate level of comprehension, because I do see what I need to know to get there. The next thing that I want to do is, obviously, I'm going to take this upcoming class, this intermediate class, and then down the line, maybe next year or so, I want to take the N5. So I hope to like actually update you guys, and I tell you guys my process with that, because I haven't officially started studying for it, but the class that I'm taking now, my professor has given us like, 2 packets of kanji, and essentially, according to her, she says that if you know this kanji, it will like really, really help if you want to take the N5. So in my mind, I'm like, if I just memorize this kanji, and also, of course, properly prepare for the N5 in other regards, but if I also just memorize this kanji, I'll be like suited really well um, to take this test next year. So, like I said, I see a pathway. I'm locked in, but it's gonna take a while because I have other things that I do and other things that I enjoy, and you know, I like it. So, if you're thinking about studying Japanese, I definitely suggest doing so. But you have to also take in consideration, your own study habits and your own character traits, because it's definitely a marathon. You don't just wake up and really know what you want to know. So there's a lot to learn, but it's very beneficial and rewarding when you get to that point. So, but yeah, just wanted to give you guys a quick update, talk about what the vibes are, and hopefully I'll give you guys another update pretty soon. Catch y'all later. Peace.